podcast. Thank you for joining us today. On my left, I have P. Breezy.
What up?
On my right, I have D. Easy.
Yo.
And is there no
The Slim?
Slim? No.
Summer Boy Slim is on the way.
The Snyder Boy Slim?
Snyder Boy Slim. That's nasty.
And I'm Ryan B. Online. So today we're just going to do a really quick news roundup and continue with our coverage of the event of a lifetime. The upcoming, I almost said the oncoming, but I suppose either one is fine. The oncoming storm.
So some just came to my mind, and I want to get you guys' opinion on it.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Chappelle had a fight with Viacom. The
Netflix.
Central.
Was it?
No. He asked Netflix to take the show down because he didn't get paid from Comedy Central. They took it down. He asked them to boycott HBO. And apparently the people did. And apparently Comedy Central came off some millions and gave him his rights into his show back and everything. So now the show is back up on Netflix.
Okay.
So he asked the people to boycott. He said, I'm going to my real bosses to ask you to boycott the show. And they did. And we did. And he got paid. How you guys feel about that?
Good for him.
Open the door for one thing.
What's that?
A real season 3.
He ain't doing season 3. He's perfectly good.
No. He said that he would like to do it, but it has to be a right situation.
Here's the thing: if he did, it would be nothing like the original iteration.
No.
Like,
I'm not going to doubt. Listen, his comedy has been consistently amazing. So
right, but his comedy is based on observations and stories. Now, it's not like scenarios.
Yeah.
And again, if you've seen him on SNL, like there's been some good skits.
great skits.
Some good skits, but it's still in every skit, he's still just Dave Chappelle.
Did you see?
He can't be like weird characters anymore.
Did you see the skit where they was doing the Auntie Mama and the Uncle Ben got fired and he played the Allstate guy?
Yep.
And that was hilarious. That was like down-hole funny.
It was still mostly just Dave Chappelle. But again, it's also a very subdued character. Listen, I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm saying he has not shown us that in a very long time.
I'm gonna believe in him.
He's been walking around with that big dick energy for so long. He's Dave Big Dick Chappelle. He's the fucking biggest name in... He's reclaimed the title of biggest name in comedy. Like, he just fucking stepped over Kevin Hart.
Not a very hard thing to do.
Get some of that Kevin Hart bop. Big oven pizza.
Actually, you know what? Very appropriately, what I would say right now is... for a minute, not so much now, because I think Kevin Hart's time is kind of, his peak is we're on the downside now. But for a minute, Chappelle and Kevin Hart were like Prince and Michael Jackson.
Facts.
For a minute.
Facts.
It was the pop star and the artist.
Here's the deal. I think the pandemic hurt Kevin Hart more than it hurt anybody. Maybe The Rock. I don't know, because The Rock coming out with his own show and stuff. I think
nothing hurts The Rock.
I think the pandemic hurt Kevin Hart more than it hurt anybody.
No, because he was limping going into the pandemic. Because he was dealing with the issues from with the Academy Awards and his tweets, and he had some missteps with movies that didn't quite hit. And his last two specials, they didn't hit as hard as the previous ones. I mean, the last one was panned. I was fine with it. It had some good stuff in it.
Which one?
The one from he filmed in his quote unquote house. I mean, I don't know if for sure. If it was
Oh yeah, I loved that one. I thought it was funny.
For me, it was fine. I mean, I loved all those other stand-ups. This one, a little bit more on the downside for me because he tried a little too hard to make things like click and like be catchphrases.
But I think for that joke right there hit hard when you our age. He was like, I called up my homeboys and like we going out. They were like, nah man, I got arthritis. The nigga was like, what's arthritis? Who got arthritis? It had his piece. I thought it was solid. I didn't think it was better than anything he did, but I thought it was solid. But compared to what's been going on with Dave Chappelle, like Dave Chappelle has been killing the pandemic.
Oh no, Dave Chappelle can do no wrong because and he still is bringing out new content.
Yeah,
new stuff
in the pandemic.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
But again, that's also because Chappelle peppers in. He chooses when to jump in, whereas Kevin Hart is just continuous production.
And I think, just like you were saying earlier, he's about observations and stories, whereas Kevin Hart is still a bit about performance and like having him do his crazy, manic guy thing is not as entertaining if you're not there.
Yeah.
Like, and especially if, like, I don't know, I hadn't seen it, but the one that he did at his home, I'm assuming there was no, like, no live studio audience.
No,
There are people there?
Yeah,
Okay.
In his house.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
That was actually like one of the first jokes he made. Of like he was scared because he had people in his house.
Nice.
It was actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It was good, but it just wasn't.
It was solid. It wasn't what his previous
Yeah,
things were.
yeah, it wasn't
And again,
on that
we're
level.
also judging off of his level of
Yeah.
of performance.
That's like saying Bad was all right, but it wasn't on Thriller level. Like nothing.
I'm glad we clarified who was the artist and who was the pop star.
Prince, what you mean? Prince was slave. Chappelle came. They both had that same energy,
Yeah.
like coming against the establishment. I thought it was easy.
I was kidding, but
He
they're both
saves
equal.
more than he rapes.
But he rapes.
So he rapes
and
them.
he saves.
What he say? What I'm saying about Bill Cosby,
Bro, that is the nastiest, funniest joke ever.
Yeah, it is.
Like, he can say the baby, but he gotta rape somebody. Yay! Everybody clapping.
Nice.
Just 30 seconds ago, he raped somebody. We shouldn't be laughing at that, bro.
Well, it's a joke. It's not actually. It didn't actually happen. It's fine.
Bill Cosby.
Yeah. Ooh, pudding pop.
He put a lot of money in the black
Yeah.
colleges.
Yep.
He probably raped some of the teachers. But yeah, no, I just thought that was a cool. We didn't talk about it in the pregame because I just remembered as we started the episode, like Dave Chappelle did something this week.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, so all you Gen Zers who don't know what Dave Chappelle did, check it out.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's on the major platforms now.
he's rich.
Biatch.
That's the 3-way to do it.
Yep. Nice.
That's what y'all pay for.
It's a good 3-way.
That's what y'all pay for, the 3-way.
So, if you're interested in seeing more, if you're interested in seeing more 3-ways from us, check out our OnlyFans.
Again, we're taking recommendations for what you want to see on there.
Yes.
We assume feet. But what else? Because, man, listen, man. I got some Amazon points saved up. If I need to buy a furry suit, we'll do it.
Listen, I can post a picture of me holding my eggplant that has grown very large.
I've seen it.
Yep.
The tip is very, very, very expensive.
Yes, it's very veiny.
Surprisingly bulbous.
Opus.
Viney? Yeah.
So viney.
He's so viney.
Now, these eggplants that you grow.
Yes.
Is it the
Just the one. No.
Is it the season for the eggplant?
It's always used for eggplant, baby. We're in Florida. We're subtropical zone.
Okay, so
pretty
we
much
good.
always.
Yeah.
As long as you keep it plenty water and don't have it overlit. But
What do you use for potting?
just Miracle Grow soil or whatever's cheapest at the at Lowe's or whatever.
You don't use like no real fruit hugs and stuff like that, or rinds and nothing like that.
I haven't yet, but I do have a compost bag that I'll eventually get put up. It's just being at my parents' house, I have this little area on the side. You've seen it,
yeah.
But it's just an area on the side that doesn't have a lot of room, so it's kind of like
That's one of the reasons why I want to get a house is number one to get Zion a basketball court, but two to have my own garden. Mm-hmm. I want to grow some collard greens so bad. Fresh picked collard greens.
You
in
like
the
kale?
oven. I like kale.
you want one of mine because
You got kale?
they are vigorous growers.
Nice. I gotta get the house first.
Okay, you don't even need a house; it's just in a pot,
Well, I ain't got nowhere to put it in my house.
patio. Oh, you
I don't have a patio.
That's right. Never mind. Sorry.
We live in the hood. Ain't no hood.
some
Ain't no
reason-
patios in the hood.
Thinking that you got an outside area, but
I mean, this is the side of the house, but
yes,
raccoons, raccoons.
Yeah,
it's true.
bro. We got, bruh.
Raccoons? Wait.
We got them raccoons that they ain't even scared of you. They blow. That's just Lacey. One of them told me, nigga, you don't be putting out no good food. I like, nigga, I eat it all.
I'm gonna come rob you because I got the mask.
Yeah, yeah. The buzzers even gangster. The buzzers around my
Remember that
place.
Trumpers, even raccoons wearing masks.
America.
America. How did we get off the rails like this?
Speaking of off the rails,
Speaking of Trumpers.
Gina Carano. But
Yep.
This is a mixed bag.
The long side.
Yeah.
This is a mixed bag. Like, this is, I'm not gonna say a delicate story, but there's a lot involved here. There's not a clear cut like, yeah, this should have happened.
Get the people that don't know the understanding of what's going on.
Still don't understand.
I don't either, bro. I was talking to people with me.
So Gina Carano, over the last year, basically, she's been a staunch supporter of Trump against different. Come out against Antifa, come out against a bunch of different stuff.
Anti-masker.
Like, she's been very much like riding the Trump wave, or the Trumper wave.
The red wave.
The red wave.
Yeah. The MAGA wave.
The MAGA wave. Yeah, it's probably better. That's what term I was looking for. Because she's not like
the red tide.
She's not expressly like expressing conservative views. It's really like that MAGA like mindset.
This is Trump's America now, boy.
Yeah. So she's been called out for for masks. She's been called out for coming out against different events and different things. One in particular, she claims she didn't understand about the hers, or I forget the exact verbiage, but for cis, non-cis, trans, all different ways that they'll describe themselves in their profile. And she did beep bop boop as like a joke about it, and piss off a lot of the trans community.
Oh yeah, you
can't
can't
the
mess with
LGBTQ.
Cannot mess with them.
She claims
Alphabet people.
The element of P people.
She claims after the fact that Pedro Pascal helped her understand that it's about that and why it is. So she took it off her thing.
I don't respect that. I don't respect that.
Don't respect what?
When you hide how you feel.
Well,
either you're gonna truly learn and apologize for it, or you stick with it, but don't fake it. Cause those feelings, like for instance, black people were saying for years, all the stuff that's coming out now with the Trumpers and everything, this is something that's been hidden in them. It's not something that was never there. It was there, but they just had to hide it. And if we live in the society that we live in,
we do live in a society.
Where you're supposed to have freedoms and everything. I don't think that you should have to be forced to change your view on things. That's just who you are, unless you really get educated.
And we'll get to this because again, she's still very much sticking to her views. So Lucasfilm put out a statement. Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrated people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. This came right on the heels, and she put out a post that I think it very divisive, mainly because it touches on a matter that while I understand what she was going for, it was just the wrong way to go about it. Mm-hmm. So she posted a picture from 1940s, late 1930s Germany of Jews being, pulled out and beaten and, in the streets. And the caption on there was, Jews were beaten in the streets not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made her own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? So she was using it as a metaphor, using it as an analogy, the Jews of Nazi Germany to being a Republican nowadays. She had me I was listening until that last line.
Yep.
I understand there are
What was the last line, please? Remind me.
How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? How is taking somebody from their home, beating them, and sending them to concentration camps different than disagreeing with someone? She
should have worded that better.
It was too far. I understand the idea.
I don't think it was like lose job far though.
But it was a long time coming. Listen, the fire of Gina Carano has been trending on and off for a year now. The supporters have been trying to offset that, but
okay. But here's the deal. This is the problem I have with it. So, and it's a story like that's going on in the NFL where the Jaguars' new head coach, I can't think of his name right now.
Well, Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer. He hired someone that said and did a lot of racist things in his previous job, and I don't believe that dude should have held that position. But at like what cost? So now we're gonna have so she can't never find no other job. She can't make no money. Who's gonna take care of her?
Well, she found a job immediately. There will always be a job for people who say these things. That's unfortunately a fact, both good and bad. And again, I was on board for some of this stuff, and again, that post is just going too far. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, if nothing else, like I said, the last thing, comparing them to the same thing, understanding it's using the same tactics is one thing.
Yeah, she could have worded it better.
But saying it's equivalent is 100% untrue because, one, people cannot help their religion in most parts. Mm-hmm. People can't help who they were born as. You can change your political mind, especially if your party veers off the fucking rails.
You can change your religion.
Listen, the idea of...
You can change your religion.
You can, but not like if you were born and raised a certain way, you're probably not going to. But even that, it wasn't even necessarily that they were practicing Jews. It's just that they saw them as Jews, and they say, you're responsible for all the bad things that are happening in our country at this time. We're going to get rid of you. We're going to round you up, and we're going to put you,
No, I get it.
Whether or not there's anything about the actual the citizenry knowing what the Nazis were doing, whether they're rounding them up and they're putting them in gas chambers and killing them en masse, or whether or not they thought they were just deporting them. Yeah. Wonder if there's anything to be said there.
Yeah. So, like I said, I think the idea of neighbor being pit against neighbor is a conversation to have. Mm-hmm. This exact use of it is just grossly overused.
What's her new job?
So, almost immediately afterwards, she penned a deal with Ben Shapiro to do a movie with his production company.
Really?
Yeah.
A bucket and a mop.
The worst Shapiro.
But but I'm gonna be honest with you though, MAGA is gonna support it. It's gonna be half of the country that support that movie.
Oh, of course, man. Listen, man. You gotta work, man. It's the market's there obviously for it. I mean, I don't think she should starve to death. I mean, I hope it. It's probably gonna go too far whatever she does, but I hope it is. I don't know. I mean, again, I wasn't against her for a lot of the stuff, and again, I didn't follow too closely, so again, I don't know the details of why it was such a raging, fire Gina Carano this whole time. I'll admit, I'm just ignorant of what was happening.
Large part of that is probably just the fact that cancel culture has kind of gotten out of control.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, I saw some posts, like so many. I tried to read about a dozen different articles to find out what specifically kept pushing people against her. I mean, I know again there was stuff about being anti-mask, about not believing and not going along with the pandemic. Yeah. But I mean, I think there's also stuff about Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and obviously she was MAGA diehard.
None of that. I don't know. I think we gotta define some rules when this whole cancel culture thing. That's my problem is. Like, you can be canceled over here for doing this, but not canceled for this over here.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. People are just canceling people because they don't like them.
Yeah.
Not or because they don't agree with them. Not because it's violating a founding moral principle, or they're doing something illegal and not being held accountable for it. They're just saying, I'm going to cancel this person because I don't like what they said.
So here's the thing. I want to use these two situations, right? So, if somebody says something about black people, right? Say if they use the N-word, right? Do we have the right to take their livelihood away?
I think it depends on the severity.
Okay, what if they just say, you ugly N-word?
Here's the thing. The problem is that with that example specifically,
I'm using that because I'm a black man and I know how it feels.
I understand. And I think why that specifically is charged to such a point is because that was used freely and inappropriately for a very long time. Yeah. It became basically, again, the doctrine of a people for a very long time. And now it's almost having to be overcorrected, where if you use it, like, intentionally, or even unintentionally, you're going to have to pay for it.
I think, and I'm using that as an example, I think it has to be something different. Maybe, okay, if you're up your job, you high up here, maybe you jump down a few notches or something like that. It can't be taking away people's livelihood. It just can't be.
Well, especially when you're
supposed to be living in a free country. And I understand, I know the sting of this word, but we have the right to say it. Now, there should be consequences for saying it, but taking away someone's livelihood, now they got to live on the state. Now we paying for them.
Here's what I would say about that is, just as an example, this isn't what she said, but it took away her job. I would definitely say they didn't take away her livelihood, because, like Paul was saying, there's always a place for people who hold these extreme views. But B, most companies have policies in place against that say you can't do things like espouse hate and things like that. So the person doing that chose to use their freedom of speech knowing it was a risk, knowing it was something that they could face termination, loss of livelihood for.
Okay, let me make this more personal.
And if you want to talk more like about a business getting shut down because of holding those kind of views, that's the free market.
Let me say this. You get caught, you was drunk. You get caught saying something that you didn't mean to say. And it's very offensive to someone. And it goes online and they're saying, fire you. I'm sorry. Your employer fire you. How would you feel about that versus your employer say, okay,
this was last, do not associate with
versus your employer say, okay, you got to take these classes to do some retraining on the situation. Well, hold on, wait. Do some retraining on the situation, and then say, okay, well, you're going to start at a lower level.
Several things.
That'll be more in line of what I'm talking about. It ain't just take this like her. That's a different situation. She's an elite. She's in the business where she's probably fine for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm talking about to the everyday average people that makes these mistakes. That are say things. What if somebody says, I don't agree with LGBT? Does they have the right to automatically LGBTQ?
LGBTQ. There's other letters now too.
Are their livelihood just supposed to be taken away?
Well, I don't think that you can get fired for saying I don't agree with it.
No, I'm
now,
just saying.
If you said, if you were caught saying,
Bro, I'm trying not to get fired, bro. I'm saying it that way.
No, I get you. But the problem is that you're kind of looking for that scenario where it happens, and it doesn't always happen that way. And it's different for every situation. For, if I was at a bar and drunk and I got, said some crap about whoever, and a bunch of people heard it, and maybe even if it got around to my employer, this one lasted not associated with they probably couldn't fire me. Now, if it was on social media, again, assuming I was on my own time, if it was on social media and it was out there in the world, could they possibly fire me? Yeah, especially if there was millions of people seeing it. And it got out there, this is where this person works. But then again, that is also the danger of social media, because that is somebody, how does anybody know where I work? My profile is private.
Yeah, but your name ain't. They would look you up.
Right, they could dox me.
Yeah.
But that's not right.
But
that's cancel culture.
But this is what's going on.
That's where they cross the line.
Well, I'm saying, but this is what's going on. This is exactly what's going on.
Here's the difference. The situation you're giving, where it's an accident or quote-unquote an accident, most people, and unfortunately...
No, I didn't say accident. I said he was drunk.
Right, he accidentally said something that he shouldn't have said. Because he should have kept it to himself.
I was not in a state of mind that I could make a conscious decision to not say those things. That was what you said, was you accidentally say something.
But see, let's talk about this country star that just happened. The country star that was out saying the N-word. And he lost his contract with the record label.
He's a public figure.
Okay, what happened there?
He was out saying the N-word to his homeboy. It was a white dude. He called his homeboy, come on, N-word, or something like that. You could tell he was staggering, drunk and everything.
Like in a video?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you fucked up, son.
Yep.
And then he lost his record contract. My thing is, it's got to be now. Obviously, him. That's another one. He's making millions of dollars. But I'm talking about on everyday people, because everyday people are losing their jobs.
What I'm trying to say, before you had another example that bolsters my opinion or my thought, more often than it even should be, people can make apologies, go on apology tours, go to rehab, or go to
sensitivity
training, or meet with Jesse Jackson and be let off, basically. Whether they believe it or not, they can make fake apologies. And again, if Gina Carano was willing to, again, just shut the fuck up or just like fake apologize, she'd be fine. But she wholeheartedly believes everything she's saying and would not back down. So you can very easily, if you make a mistake, quote unquote, you say something intentionally, you can say it's a mistake, go on apology tour. Again, even that star, I'm sure he'll be back at some point. All he has to do is just be quiet for a while, apologize, make some donations, do some goodwill with the black community, and then work his way back up. Most of these people, for better or worse, do find their way back.
I'm gonna end the conversation there because I just think it's.
I would like to add something before you do. So, as an example, you're familiar with the lady who called the cops on the black man who was bird watching in Central Park. All right. Yeah. So
Central Park Karen.
Yes, that's okay. That's her thing. So she called the cops on him. They come out and they found he wasn't doing anything, et cetera, et cetera. They got her on video and posted it all over the internet. She was charged with a false report, misdemeanor, penalty of up to 1 year in jail. However, recently, any further action, criminal action, wasn't taken because she went and she completed sensitivity training and she did all this other stuff. I don't think she lost her job. I don't think that her livelihood was taken out of her mouth. Was she?
I thought she lost her job, though. I thought she lost it instantly. I thought they took her job away instantly. I know he came out and said he forgave her and he didn't think that she should lose her job, but I think she lost her job anyways.
I don't know. Either way.
At the end of the day, the current cancel culture way we do... Either way, the current way we do cancel culture is not a good way. We need to take a look at it. You can argue whatever you want. I'm arguing that this is not right. This is not the way we should be doing things.
Cancel culture in general to me isn't right because of the fact that they basically they always take it too far.
But it still
But enforcement and reporting is fine. If a company has set it out there that if you fuck around on Facebook and you do some shit and everybody sees it, and it's against their policy, and you probably signed a social media agreement, they have the right to fire you.
Here's the thing. When Donald Trump lost his... I'm going to leave it at this because I don't want to say like I'm taking up for Donald Trump. I don't care about him either way. But when Donald Trump lost his Twitter, to me that became dangerous. That became dangerous. And the fact that now, wait till you see what the next level is going to be. And that's all I'm going to say about that. That's how I feel.
He's flagrantly violating their rules time and time again, and they didn't have to pander to him once he lost his office.
At the end of the day, that's how I feel.
Okay. People lose their Twitter accounts all the time. He's no different. Glad they held them to it. Glad they set an example.
At the end of the day,
it's their platform. It's their platform.
In a public market.
It's their platform.
In a public market.
Listen, that is a public market. That's a perfect example.
It's
their platform.
In a public market.
Just like the clip you were showing us earlier.
There's no longer...
It was his platform. He had every right to tell her no and cut her off if he wanted.
They're no longer in when you... I don't want to get into this whole... you're going to disagree.
Sure.
I don't want to get into it.
So, the director of Godzilla vs. Kong, Adam Wingard, will helm a remake of Face Off. Why do you suppose that they decided to make a movie that no one asked for?
I mean, it's been quiet, so they're just like watching old movies and they just came across.
I suppose.
No, you go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off.
No, I didn't have anything. Go ahead.
I think Hollywood can't be creative no more. I think a lot of creatives are not going to Hollywood no more, so they don't have creativity no more.
I think they just don't take the risk anymore. I think they got their safe bets and they just, I could probably make money off of this.
Yeah, I think it's just because it's the same idea, because again, like now we're getting to the point with visual entertainment that we got to music with like 10, 15 years ago, where now there's such an easy way for content to get out there that they don't have to go through movie studios. They don't have to go through TV studios anymore. They can just post it. And again,
make a deal with Netflix. Make a deal
Greenlit.
with Disney. Make a deal with HBO.
Well, more specifically, they can produce it themselves. They can make everything on their own.
They can do it themselves on YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah, they can make their own website.
I think Eddie Murphy is showing you with Coming to America too. He put it on. I don't need to go in theaters.
YouTube created an entire premium service based off of that concept. That creators can kind of just do it on their own.
So now creators don't have to go and pitch nothing to Hollywood, which would say, okay, I don't want it. I would like this, or they'll take your idea, they'll buy it from you, and then change the whole thing. They don't have to deal with that no more. You know what I mean? So like Hollywood, there's no creativity in Hollywood, and it's been like that for this whole social media time.
No. So the creativity is there. The problem is they won't invest in it.
Yep.
Just like there are plenty of really good rock bands, rappers, poets, artists, jazz players, jazz musicians, but they won't invest in them because they don't see the return.
Yep.
Because even
there
like
is
the
no
world's
return.
best, what?
There's no return.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So the creativity is there. It's just not getting funded. Like again, like great artists, great musicians didn't disappear. They didn't die. They didn't get blipped. They just don't get the money.
Hollywood and music is totally different because music, you got this streaming thing that's going on now, and you literally are losing money as an artist on streaming. But if you take it to your personal thing and stream it on like YouTube or build your following up on SoundCloud and all that, like you got rappers making millions of dollars a year like Chance without a major label.
That's basically just what we were talking about. Is that you have options to go with a label or not. You can go on YouTube and do it all for free. You can do it on Vimeo or whatever the service is. And do that for free.
But the reason why I say it's different between music and Hollywood is Hollywood. I mean, then with movies is there still is it costs more money to put together a movie than to put together an album.
Of course.
I can put together an album for free.
Well, I would say, yeah, of course you can. You can put a movie together free if you want to.
I'm talking about like a good standard movie though.
I mean, I've got a phone with a fantastic camera.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like if you go over
yes, I had to invest in the phone, but that's a phone that I was going to buy anyway.
If you shoot a movie with your phone, you got to reach a certain standard to put these movies on Netflix. Like there's a standard. You got to have it at this, and this, and this. Same thing with Amazon. It has to be at this quality, this quality, this quality. They just ain't buying phone camera movies.
But the cameras on phones are 4K now.
But what I'm saying is
you can record in whatever quality you want.
But they still have to meet. I didn't get into the whole argument because he changed the argument. All I'm saying is it's going to cost more to put a movie out with paying whatever, even if you pay cheap actors, paying the actors. Not when you put an album out, it's just you, and you can make your own beats and put your own songs. Like you can get friends and everything, and y'all can do song for song. I do one song on my album, you do one song. So it's a lot cheaper. That's why I say it's different.
It can be cheaper. I think that you could do a movie for next to nothing. You could do an album for millions of dollars.
All right, I'm going to be honest. Y'all getting sidetracked by the argument. All I said was, like in music, studios and record labels aren't investing in things that don't give them big returns. That's all I said. I'm not arguing. Again, I was trying to explain that we have creativity still in cinema as well as in music. Yes, a great artist can go ahead and put out an album for next to nothing, because most of them probably have their own studio, and again, the software is, even free software is cheaper.
Yeah, good, yeah.
All I'm saying is, they have to do that because the studio won't back them. Same thing with a really good script. The only way a really good script will get made is if either one, the person behind it can find funding through independent means, or two, they've, like say done a Taika Waititi, made a good movie on their own, got a big budget Hollywood movie, and that got them to be able to to fund their side project. So again, we wouldn't be getting Jojo Rabbit without Thor Ragnarok.
Yep.
Like they're not going to have this New Zealander play Hitler without him.
You mean
playing New Doug?
You mean?
So that's all I'm trying to say is just that yes, there is still creativity out there, because again, that's the same argument happens every time somebody says rap's dead. There are still good rappers out there. There are still good rock bands. Are still good jazz musicians. They're still good. There are good artists in every genre of music, but the money isn't backing it because all anybody wants to hear is the 10th Foo Fighter album. All they want to hear is the fucking whatever 10th or 12th or whatever Eminem album.
So, speaking of talented artists that are out there, and we're doing a plug in the middle now. This is not for one of our things. My very wonderfully talented cousin, Phil Druyar, lead vocalist of I Am Abomination. You may have heard of them. If not, look them up. They're an excellent band. They're very metal prog, awesome band. He's starting a new record label that aims to take away the negativity that is associated with most of the common, the big record labels. Not getting paid what you deserve, making 12% of your sales, if that.
12%?
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of high.
Well, it's just these are sort of examples that he was putting out there as he was talking about it. But on Indiegogo, he's looking for funding. That's why I talk about it here. If anybody here is listening as an artist or even somebody who just wants to support that, check it out. It's called One Off, and it's on Indiegogo. It's his own record label. He's had some shitty fucking experiences with records labels, and he's a great artist. Look him up. Fantastic thing. Support him if you can. If not, still listen to him. Support him that way.
I think what you're getting caught up with is not what I said. I'm not saying that there's no talent in hip hop. There's no talent in the movie industry. What I'm saying is the talents aren't taking it to these labels. They're not taking it to these movie studios. They're just doing it themselves.
No, they are trying to, but the studios won't invest in it. It's the same conversation we had last year when we talked about comedy. Like, studios won't invest in comedies because there's no money to be made.
Yep.
Comedies are doing very well now.
On streaming.
Well, not just streaming, on social sites.
Right, but not in theaters.
No. But
studios.
But what I'm saying is, the disagreement is, I'm saying is, people are not taking these strips to Hollywood no more. They saying they bypassing Hollywood. So I don't think Hollywood have good strips. So they have to say, okay, well, let's do this movie. It worked before, let's do it again.
I disagree.
I think that there's just not like he said, there's not the money in a straight comedy. There's more that you see nowadays is elements of comedy in other movies. Think of the Marvel movies.
I mean, but that's a different conversation, though.
But those are still scripts.
Take a person like Eddie Murphy. He went to Amazon.
No, he didn't. Amazon was after the fact. He went to Paramount first.
No, but he struck a deal with Paramount, but they didn't. They was in talk. Remember, it was supposed to come out.
He filmed it, and then because of the pandemic, they weren't releasing any movies. So then it got sold to Amazon during the pandemic.
I think it was a deal that was made, but he didn't like the deal because I think it was like they were gonna come out a couple of years later. Either way, but what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is now there's roots that people, bro. I know so many creatives online, bro, that doing creative stuff online that they just taking it. Go look at Amazon and search up hood movies, bruh. The hood movies are crazy, and these people aren't even going there.
All I'm saying is any writer and agent for a writer worth their medal are at least shooting their shot. They always send it to the studios, see what happens, and then they go and do their own thing. Like, nobody's not going to try to get $20 million, $100 million. Mm-hmm. Like, they're going to try. Don't get me wrong.
But you can get that.
Biggest issue that they have a lot of times when they do that is that the studio then wants ownership of that script and everything that comes with it.
To put a song on Apple, what Apple takes, 35%?
I don't even know. Probably.
And what you still getting, like 65% of your song?
Yep. Let's look it up. How much?
So why would I take a song to a label? You know what I mean? When I can just go and put it on all these social sites. Like we do our podcast, we can do the same exact thing with a song.
True, but again, the only reason I'm saying is because to make a movie, you need more than yourself.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's different.
And again, I think we're more or less vibing the same way. We're just using the same different terminology. Either way, back to the original idea of them doing a face-off movie. Literally no information other than they hired Adam Wingard, who is only really known for The Guest and the VHS series. Surprising tidbit came out in a separate interview or comment. The studio saying that it's going to be both a reimagining and a sequel.
They gotta say, they just saying stuff now, bruh.
And it will not. And at this point, they have no plans to include Nicolas Cage or John Travolta.
So it's Evil Dead 2?
No, because Bruce Campbell was involved.
That's true.
It's just going to be in the same universe, I guess. So I don't know, like the children of Castor Troy and the other guy. I guess I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect. I have no idea what to expect from this.
How you guys feel about the first one?
It was fine. It was.
Never actually watched
the whole thing. It was ridiculous 90s cinema. It was, the idea is silly, but they're just like, hey, you guys are both crazy actors. Pretend to be each other.
I want to take your face off.
So it's weird seeing like a toned down Nicolas Cage and a
amped up,
hyper amped up fucking John Travolta. We still have hair.
You guys, Sandra Lee.
Very weird, but it's fine.
I will say that as a avid Christopher Walken impersonator, it's very difficult to ride that line between Christopher Walken and John Travolta sometimes.
I'm not here for that movie.
No,
nah,
me neither. But it's fine.
It
certainly is notable, if nothing else, because of how strange it is that they chose to pick that movie to remake. That being said, a bit of what you were talking about, no creativity. Whether there's none or whether it's just that they just keep going back to the same well.
I think there is creativity. I just think they don't want to do it.
Yes.
Like what goes back to what Paul said. They don't want to spend money on things that's new.
It's not a secure investment.
But then the flip side of that is people that are creative are gonna say, it's like you go and holler at a beautiful chick. Mm-hmm. And she don't give you no play, but you holler at her like 3 more times. Eventually, you gonna stop hollering at her.
Yeah.
Eventually, the word gonna be around you. She don't like dudes.
Yeah, only to
she turned dudes down or something like that.
She thinks she's dating down.
Only to fully utilize the metaphor.
She wants a 6-figure man.
She turns you down 3 or 4 times, and you go to another girl. She says yes, and then that girl wants to get with you.
Yep.
That's the Hollywood analogy, because that's what happens is they won't go through the studios, and they may go independent. They have a good response from Sundance or South by Southwest. And then all of a sudden, now Paramount's calling. Now Warner Bros. Is calling. Now whomever else is left. Now they're calling.
TriStar? They're still around?
Canon Films? So now they're
Asylum!
Oh, there you go.
Listen, I enjoy Z Nation. It's honestly better than Walking Dead, in my opinion. Because it leans into the silliness of it.
Speaking of the silliness of it... wasn't very good segue. I just like saying that. You all know Nicole Castle. See, I know you're very, very intimately aware of Nicole Castle.
Yeah.
Because you know, obviously, she's the executive producer of the Watchmen series from HBO.
No, I just know my baby mama was in it.
Damn it, I swear to God.
Brought your favorite thing to the world.
She's been chosen to direct a remake of The Wizard of Oz. You know, another remake that we were not asking for. So New Line Cinemas, they're back in the news. They want to make a version that's more closely follows the original children's novel, which I know nothing about.
I didn't even know. I thought it was like a movie.
It's actually a very it's more than just one novel. Like it goes into a whole bunch of other crap. But
so yeah, I would imagine they're shooting for more like the first one, probably so they can try to have a series, a franchise, because that's what everybody tries to do now. So she's kind of already said she's looking to kind of a lot from the original novel, as well as bringing elements people are more aware of, like the ruby slippers, because that was just added in for the 1930s, the Judy Garland version. Any thoughts?
Well, I understand choosing to remake this one at least. Because that's a film classic. And, obviously, it having stood the test of time for many, many years, you still have the original, and there have been different variations off of it with the sequel and yes.
That's what I'm more excited about.
And, of course, even films like The Never-Ending Story that aren't related to it but are clearly inspired by it.
Yeah.
And even Labyrinth, Dark Crystal to a certain extent.
One might say the American isekai.
Yes, pretty much. It is absolutely an isekai. But it would be interesting to see if they do more. Like, we know that story already.
Yeah, it needs to be somewhere between The Wizard of Oz and Return of the Wizard of Oz. Like, was that the really like creepy one?
Yeah.
So something in between. I don't know. I don't know anything about the original thing. If they'll probably just hire Anne Hathaway. I don't know who fucking knows this way, or Billie Eilish. Who fucking knows?
I don't think this movie is for us. I think there's an audience that's for it, and they're going to be down just by hearing of, they're going to do another one. Oh, I'm down.
Yeah. Now for us, what I'm really more worried about is that means we're only a few years away from a remake of The Wiz. So.
I haven't seen that.
What do we think? Cowardly Lion, played by Kevin Hart.
I could see it.
Tin Man, Chappelle.
The Rock.
The Rock.
The Rock for Tin Man.
Yeah.
No, The Rock would be Toto.
Okay.
Beyonce is gonna be lead. She's gonna be what you call it.
What about number 9? Kelly Rowland.
Nah,
or
she. They're not movie stars.
No.
They're not movie stars.
She was in Battleship.
Was she though?
She was in Battleship, and she was in what was that one movie we saw?
Literally no idea.
No, the Fifth Element knockoff, or it wasn't actually a knockoff. But it was.
Was she in there?
Yeah, she was the singer.
Oh yeah, Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets.
Yeah.
That was.
She was. She was an alien.
That was a go nowhere movie.
She was an alien.
It was. So. I like that we went straight into fan casting The Wiz.
Oh, that's all I cared about. That was all I cared about.
I've not seen The Wiz. I haven't seen neither Wiz or The Wiz, no version.
Wiz is great.
Lord have mercy. So I think everyone here could agree that maybe possibly it will be more entertaining to make it more of a sequel / reimagining than it would to be just a straight up redo.
For The Wiz?
For either one, yes.
I mean, for The Wizard of Oz?
For The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
I definitely think that seeing the same thing play out with new characters and more upgraded technology, CGI, et cetera, et cetera. Did anybody see the Oz the Great and Powerful, the Sam Raimi prequel?
No.
It was okay. It certainly was a different tone.
Was that the one with the monkeys in it?
They all had monkeys in them.
That was like a prequel, kind of. It was like it was the wizard before he became the wizard. It's like when he first got sent there, and like I only know from what I know from the trailers. Literally didn't care. I like Franco. I love Raimi, but I just didn't care about it.
I'm not a really big fan of remakes.
I'm just not a big fan of the world of Wizard of Oz.
No, I'm not a big fan of remakes. Like the do Face Off over and over. I just think I don't know. I like sequels. Like the Coming to America 2 or Coming to America, that's kind of cool to see how that played out, But like, I'm not a fan of like remaking Coming to America or doing Boomerang over again or all these old movies. I like fresh ideas, man.
All right, here's my suggestion. Let's do a sequel to Purple Rain, and Prince's son
is the kid.
Is The Weeknd.
The kid too.
And his best friend is D-Ray. D-Ray Davis.
Now see, you working with something there. It's twerkulating. I like that.
Listen, I'm not called a producer for nothing. Okay?
Exclusive producing.
You working with something there.
Because D-Ray Davis is well known, but not expensive.
Yep.
He has a little bit of edge, but still consumable.
Yep.
He got that nice smile, but he's a little nappy. He has the whole package.
Now there is one we made that I think I'd like to see. Whether Loaded Saddles. Blazing Saddles. Well, first I got to see the first one.
Well,
apparently, and then I want to see the remake.
Apparently, D, there is an unwritten law that you can't make a Mel Brooks movie these days.
Flex.
So, speaking of flex, Chris Hemsworth's stunt double, Bobby Holland Hanton, says Chris is the biggest he's ever been, joking that in making his job just far too difficult. I've seen a few of the videos and stuff about him working out and some of the stuff that he does. It's interesting. It almost looks not even that he's building for mass, to be honest, at least in the traditional way that bodybuilders do it. It seems to be that he's trying to keep that lean physique, and he's just like working on his arms and his shoulders, like, and maybe his chest.
Abstraction.
Yeah.
Abstraction too.
Could be.
I mean, at this point, he's just professionally fit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because he doesn't need to be like The Rock. He just needs to be a solid. He just needs to be a good mass, a good solid mass.
The Rock shouldn't even be The Rock. He's too big.
Oh, what's it like 50?
Veiny. He's getting up there, yeah.
Which sidebar, we mentioned it, but I didn't know until this week that The Rock had his own show coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he was.
There's 4 different versions of him.
Yeah. The younger Rock, the younger Rock.
The ages are weird.
Youngest.
So he has like a 14-year-old version of him, which is like focusing on more when his dad was wrestling. The 18-year-old version when he's like, or 17, whatever, when he's in high school or going. What?
The fanny pack version.
When he's like just going to the University of Miami.
Yeah.
Like a 20-year-old version or 24-year-old version, I think, when he's starting to wrestle. And then like a 40, like his current day age when he's like planning a run for the White House.
So is this like Everybody Hate Chris? How that was?
Maybe.
Cause it was some of his life, but most of it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was just stories that he just thought.
I think I don't honestly I don't know how they're going to approach it. I think the first episode actually comes out tonight.
Really?
That
fast?
But we're recording. Yeah, no. Apparently they've been working on it. I had no idea until like he did an interview over the weekend.
To be fair, it's hard to keep up with The Rock.
Yeah. Actually, the reason I found out was because I came across the headline and it was joking about his mom crashing an interview he was doing with Jimmy Fallon where she's playing ukulele.
Yep.
I was like, oh, ukulele, that's right up Ryan's alley. Let's see what the fuck this is about.
Ryan?
I had to fast forward because I hate hearing the current Jimmy Fallon talk.
The current Jimmy Fallon.
He's an empty vessel. He's an empty vessel. There's a reason why he's like, again, he has the Tonight Show, which is for decades was the most notable late night show, one of the most notable shows with Jimmy Carson and even Jay Leno. And Jimmy Fallon is just nothing. I mean, granted, the other ones, again, I understand why people don't like the other ones. So, again, like Colbert, the Late Show with Stephen Colbert and Late Night, whatever, with Seth Meyers are gone a lot more political. And obviously, this week tonight with the English Bird, is very political.
Cancel you.
That's fine. He played your boy from Lion King.
Yeah, Zazu.
So he is a British bird. Not wrong. Technically, can't cancel me for this. Just don't dig too deep.
Not this one.
I need to shut down my Facebook page.
Bro, for real, you don't even have a Facebook page.
It's there. I just don't use it.
Yeah.
Good thing I'll never be famous. But which is sad because I so desperately want to be famous. Oh, it's embarrassing.
Do you though?
You are an American.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Do I want to wake up and just say a company's name and get paid for it? Yeah, I want to do that.
Well, I think you want to be rich. I don't think you want to be famous.
I want clout. I want clout.
You lied to me. I want this. Don't tell me what I want.
Clout. All I'm going to get are clouts.
Oh, I'm scared to ask where the clouts.
Anyways, yeah, Chris Hemsworth swole.
Yeah.
Love and Thunder is going to be sweet. You have Chris Hemsworth, your girl Natalie Portman, Christian the Batman Bale.
The goddamn Batman.
The goddamn Batman. Now he's the goddamn God Killer.
Yep.
Yeah, he's going to kill Chris Hemsworth.
Boar.
Sexually. What?
Boar the God Killer.
Gore.
Is it Gore?
Gore. Boar is actually Odin's father.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Boar the
Comics are weird.
Yep.
Sidebar. This is for future content. Today, my issue of The Last Ronin, issue 2, finally shipped.
Nice.
5 months after the last one. We're almost there, guys.
The first one was good, though.
Fucking great. Did you ever read it?
Yeah.
Can't wait to find out what happened. Well, I'm going to have to reread because I don't remember what happened. Except for the last panel.
Well, then, April found them.
Spoilers?
I'm sorry.
Jesus, DeLacy, just stop.
I'm sorry.
He's only had 5 months to read this. What is wrong with you, dude?
I'm sorry, I should have waited 5 more months.
Listen, if Jesus can wait 2,000 years, you can wait a couple more months. Right? Anyways, I had no segue for this. Pedro Pascal. Ryan, tell him about it.
Deadline reports that Pedro Pascal has been cast as Joel in HBO's The Last of Us TV series. So it's been out for a while now. They were going to do a Last of Us TV series. I don't know if anybody here has played the game or, like me, watched the YouTube videos of the playthroughs.
I played the most important part, the first scene.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking awesome first scene.
Great start to a game.
Dude, you need to play that. Or at least watch the scene.
I think I've watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good. And
I think.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to jump into it right away, but do you think that Pedro Pascal has that level of depth? I mean, don't get me wrong. The finale to this season of The Mandalorian was touching. But do you think he could pull that kind of response?
I think he can because he showed flickers of it, and I'm going to say this unironically.
Yep.
He showed flickers of it in Wonder Woman 84.
A little bit, I suppose.
However, I think he was also intentionally playing it super campy.
Yeah.
So, again, I think there were moments definitely in Narcos. There were definitely moments in things he's done.
Yeah.
Where, and again, really, he already looks like a broken man, so that's a great start.
Yeah.
Might need to shave a little bit to start off with, and then grow the hair back.
Yes. Get the right amount of stubble.
Yeah. I think he can. I'll admit, this isn't the ideal choice. This is definitely, because he's hot, like right now, like he's very popular. It's why he's being chosen.
He's very Hansel.
Very Hansel. So high. I do not think he's the perfect choice.
No.
However, it's definitely going to help this bring in the non-gaming fans who aren't aware of this game.
Yeah.
But granted, honestly, I don't think they needed it because I think it's a story that could have brought people in anyways. Because basically, it's a self-contained zombie story that can be told over a long period over a mini-series time.
Wait, is it going to be a mini-series or a movie?
No, it's going to be a series.
A series.
It's going to be it's going to be a series.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it's not one of those where it's like it's going to go on forever. Like it's a self-contained story.
It tells a very well. Yes, there is a sequel, but
we don't want to talk about that.
It's not worth having that conversation right now. So there's potential for it to go on for longer, but the story that the first game tells is very concise.
Yeah, like Game of the Year, fucking like that script, like that story alone could make a movie.
Yep.
Like without the game, it could have made a movie. And again, it utilizes the weird. And again, it's a very different. I hate to, because it almost sounds cliche at this point. It's a different take on the zombie story.
Mm-hmm.
Stealing aspects of like World War Z with the sound and things like that. But again, it borrows a lot from everything, but it still creates its own story. Where again, like the what are they called again?
Clickers.
Clickers. The clickers. Gotta be careful with that one. The clickers.
Just say it with an A.
The clickers.
I was trying to process what you were doing.
The cordyceps. Cordyceps is the name of the fungus that has it. Clickers are a specific type of the zombie types that they click. They can't see. Their face has been entirely covered in fungus because it's a fungus parasite that basically takes over their brain. Their faces become all fungus, and all they can do is hear. So they do like an ultrasound, and you have to like move around in the shadows, darkness, whatever, to hide behind them and things like that, and not set them off. So it's a different take from zombies. From zombies, most of the time you're trying to outrun them. In this one, it's more of you're trying to sneak them.
So it's going to be on HBO Max, and they specifically are describing it as a hardened survivor hired to smuggle Ellie, a 14-year-old girl, out of an oppressive quarantine zone. What starts as a small job soon becomes a brutal, heartbreaking journey as they both must traverse across the U.S. and depend on each other for survival. Pascal is Joel, tormented by past trauma and failure, must trek across a pandemic ravaged America.
A little on the nose there, guys.
All the while protecting a girl who represents the last hope of humanity.
So for me, character image is not that big of a deal for me. Like if there was a black Superman, I wouldn't. There was a Mexican Superman, none of that matter. To me, it's gonna be how he's directed and how good the story is gonna be directed. Those two things I'm interested in. If it's a good story and it's directed and the acting is well, this to me is going to be a great series. I don't care how the physical does he fit the person or not.
No, that's not what we're talking about. How he's able to carry himself as a character. Because so I'll say real quick, the girl Ellie, she's being played by Bella Ramsey from Game of Thrones. I don't remember who she is.
I think that's the girl who was the little bear.
Who the fuck's the little bear?
You don't remember the Lyanna Mormont? The young girl who was like talking shit to all the lords.
Oh yeah.
The little bear. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because the symbol for the Mormont house was the bears. So no, she's a young girl. Basically, because of all the people in her family who are in the lineage, basically died. She was like a 10-year-old girl who was in charge of her whole house, and she was in charge of her whole house, just telling people what the fuck they could do with themselves, and it was a great moment.
I'll be honest, I kind of slept through most of that last season.
Fair enough.
So
she was a delight in that one, though.
Quick run through, and again, I'll try to be as spoiler free as possible. Again, not that I know all the details, but basically something really bad happens at the start of the breakout, and it fucks up Joel.
Yeah.
He's basically a shattered man at that point. He keeps to himself. He's just hired to get this girl to this place to save humanity. He doesn't realize until he gets there what's going to happen. Yeah. And across the way, they create a bond, both for necessity and then because they just want to protect each other.
I'm down. The story got me.
Yeah, so it has huge potential to be a breakout series.
What I like about the story is that it hits a lot of these zombie movie beats where the zombies are the enemy, but man is the real enemy. But it finishes with, "Are you the enemy?" And
are you?
You got to look into it.
Are you?
You got to look into it. I hope they follow it very closely because it was excellent.
Listen, right now, Queen Latifah is the equalizer, and I've been enjoying it. So that lets you know.
Queen, I got a bad knee, Latifah.
That lets you know. I say, man, the Queen ain't running fast enough, but she got away. That makes sense.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, for sure. Something I'm not looking forward to. This won't last podcast decided we're going to touch on a very sensitive subject in the news. If everybody's cool with me moving along. Recently, a director, very big name in the industry, has come under criticism for past, what's the right word? Transgressions?
Yeah. Transgressions
against his actors. Specifically, we're talking about Joss Whedon. And we talk about this because of the fact that initially, Ray Fisher had come out saying that he was very unprofessional on the set of the Justice League when they were doing all the reshoots and whatnot the first time that it got made. Since then, numerous members of the Buffy cast have come out and more or less confirmed that he was not particularly professional. As far as my understanding goes, nothing illegal or unlawful or no sexual misconduct, again, to my understanding, but extremely unprofessional, abusive, hurtful to his workers, people who were under his direction, under his care. Charisma Carpenter was one of the first ones to come out in detail about it and basically talked about how, give the Cliff Notes version, once she got pregnant, he kind of called her into the office to interview her about it and be like, "Oh, are you going to keep it?" Kind of implying that he didn't want her to be on the show if she was going to be pregnant, because it would affect the character. Whereas numerous shows in the past have dealt with that in various ways. So, and then there's another one where Michelle Trachtenberg apparently had an encounter with him, and after the encounter, there was a rule that she was not to be alone with him. because she was a teenage girl basically getting verbally abused by an older man who held her career in his hands. So it's an unfortunate thing for a lot of us because I think we're fans of his work. I'm a big fan of Firefly. The Avengers, obviously. Age of Ultron to a lesser extent. But he is one of the architects of the modern MCU, which we are big fans of.
He's been a major player in a lot of nerd pop culture.
Just in general.
For the last 20 years.
Dr. Horrible.
What movie he did in the Marvel besides Avengers?
Age of Ultron.
That was the weakest one.
It was one of the weaker ones. And he's one of the architects. He is not the sole driving force. I'd say if anybody has that, Jon Favreau and your boy Feige are the biggest.
Favreau and Feige to me is the architects.
Certainly, I don't deny that.
It's why I said
one of the architects.
That's like saying Ryan Coogler was an architect.
Because again,
he is.
Honestly, as much
he's gonna be back for number 2.
Listen.
That movie is amazing,
and he's gonna get it. And they're gonna get WakandaVision. Huh? You didn't hear about that?
Listen, as much as I love
WandaVision, Wakanda.
They're gonna do a Wakanda-focused Disney Plus show. Sorry.
As much as I love Favreau,
oh yeah, I heard about that.
As much as I love Favreau,
sounds awesome.
I don't think he could have done the Avengers.
Probably not. He's a lot more individual character group focused.
And he is perfect for a character for a movie like Iron Man.
When I say Favreau is because I think to me Iron Man started it all.
He did.
He's not saying the architect. He's one of the architects.
One of the architects.
What I'm saying is the Avengers for me, even though the storyline was cool, but I think the last two was the best.
Well, yeah, of course, because it was able to build off 10 years of stuff.
Yep.
What we're saying is that helps set the tone for what came afterwards.
Without the Avengers, we wouldn't have gotten a lot of the other stuff that we got.
No, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying like that. To me, he did a good job with the Avengers, but to call him an architect of this whole universe,
I'd say it wasn't the whole universe. He's one of the architects.
I wouldn't.
It takes many architects.
To say like I don't even call Ryan Coogler an architect. I think he did a good job with the Black Panther, and I think Black Panther 2 gonna be. I hope it be good.
I never called Ryan Coogler an architect.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't think because you did a movie, you're an architect.
First of all, to compare Ryan Coogler in the third phase to Joss Whedon in the first phase, man, now you make me defend Joss Whedon. This is ridiculous. All I'm saying is what he did in Avengers helps set the tone for a lot of what came afterwards.
I just think he's average at best.
I think. Listen, he gets results.
Are you part of cancel culture now, D?
No. Why you say that?
Oh, you don't like Avengers?
No, what I'm saying is the Avengers was good. I didn't too much care for Age of Ultron. I haven't seen it yet, second time yet.
Again, also Age of Ultron is famous for having a lot of studio interference.
Yeah.
But my whole point is, I think you could have got another director and it would have been just as good.
I would agree with Paul. I don't think Favreau could have done it.
No, I didn't say Favreau. I said you could have got another director.
Yeah. I don't think it would have been the same. I don't think you would have gotten the same movie.
The one that did the twins. I don't know if they're twins, but the ones that did the last two.
The Russo brothers?
They weren't the directors then.
But what I'm saying is, if they would have been directors, they could have did a good job.
I don't think so.
I think they built off of a lot what was already there.
But what I'm saying, who do you think came up with these stories? Was it Favreau was it what's his name? Feige, or was it Joss Whedon that built the whole story?
I believe Joss Whedon actually had a big hand in writing that movie.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. And also too, like unlike a lot of other directors, he's also one of the few who has experience in comics.
Yep.
And that is a super comic movie. Not just Easter eggs and callbacks.
I wouldn't know. I'm
explaining to you. This is how you learn.
He's nerd explaining to you.
No, I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, I still don't think he's the one to say he can be an architect of that universe.
I mean, you realize things can have more than one architect, right?
I definitely realize that. I just don't think he.
Ergo vis-a-vis.
I mean,
importantly.
what about what was another movie came out in the first?
In the first phase?
He also consulted.
Thor?
He
Like,
also,
was
Captain America?
Was the dude that did Thor, was he an architect?
He also
Not really, but he only
consulted
did
in
one
other
movie.
movies.
Huh?
He also consulted on other movies.
What you mean?
He consulted in the making of other movies,
Really? Okay.
like after the fact.
Okay, so it wasn't just a one-off thing.
No, it wasn't just, no,
Okay,
no,
okay,
it was just a
okay.
one-off thing.
No.
You're zeroing in on the one.
No, because you said like he's an architect after making. I'm like, well, after one movie? Like, no.
He
Well,
didn't
yeah,
do
Thor.
one.
too. And again, there are a lot of issues with Age of Ultron.
Thor is one of my favorite movies, and I want to say the director was an architect.
No, because he didn't really have a lot of influence over the rest of the... In fact, I would say that the remaining Thor movies didn't even look much like the first movies.
Only reason why I'm saying Favreau is an architect is because when he did that first movie, to me, everything was built on that first movie.
Well, if we had to say one director as an architect, yes.
Well,
Especially 'cause he's
the
still
overall
involved.
architect, I think, is Foggy. I think it's Foggy the overall. I think literally Foggy put everything together. Like, this is what you're gonna do. This is the story I want you to tell. Like, I literally think that.
Feige sat in a room and listened to the stories that people had to tell and say, this works, this doesn't, here's how we're going to connect it.
Once they got to Avengers, then Feige became like the voice.
Yep.
The first movies, you can like watching them. Like every one of Phase 1 has a different feel and tone to it. Like you wouldn't know they're part of the same universe unless you knew they were part of the same universe. Like they're all different styles of movies, kinds of movies, tones, voices. None of them connect except for cutscenes, except for post-credit scenes.
Yep.
I think that's just a good universe, though.
Well, that's fine. But I'm saying, like, none of them have, like, you don't feel the same voice, the same architects in those movies. So again, like, I think Feige didn't get his footing until closer to Avengers, and then he became the puppet master of the universe. That's the only thing I'm saying. In Phase 1, 100% Favre. He kind of helped develop what was going to be coming after that.
I mean, he set up everything. He set up the Shield, everything in like that series of Iron Man.
Well, the thing of it is I think at that time they needed to bring in Shield because that was the only thing that they had the rights to that wasn't the Avengers that would be able to tie in everything else. Like you can't do it with mutants, can't do it with Spider-Man, you can't do it with the Avengers first off, but you can introduce Shield, who is basically just superhero FBI, and be like, here, these people exist. Here's Nick Fury. Everybody's in the background. They're doing all their things. They're working with Iron Man. They're working with Thor. They're working with the Hulk. They're working with
I think, but on going back to Joss Whedon, I think, especially at that time, I think it's going to be a lot of directors that would have been like that. Not to maybe to extreme of telling someone, are you going to keep the kid or you couldn't be around a 15-year-old. But I think that, and I'm not saying that's right. What I'm saying is that if we get to the level where we start exposing what was really going on back then, it's going to be a lot of people out here, man. It's going to be a lot of people out here. As far as Joss Whedon, I mean, I don't know. Do we say he shouldn't do movies no more?
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. That being said, if the studios that he works for decide to get rid of him because of the negative PR that he brings with him, that's their choice, and I'm sure that he has something in his contract that says something to the effect that they can terminate him if he goes too far and does this and does that. Also being said, I'm sure he's got lawyers that will argue that they don't have the right to do that. So, and if you're talking about should we, as the viewers,
is this alleged or this actually happened?
As far as
here's the thing, because most of these things happen behind closed doors. At this point, to my knowledge, Joss Whedon has not acknowledged the claims.
But what I'm saying is these are alleged or these claims that actually been proven to happen.
Well, like I said, they're behind closed doors, so only Joss and the actors know what happened.
So this is tough. This is tough.
Of course it's tough. But again, when the entire cast comes out and defends what the person says, I gotta kind of follow. I gotta kind of believe that's what happened.
But what I'm saying is...
the Ray Fisher thing, I don't give a fuck about that. Like, it's one person out of the entire cast. And again, maybe the other ones are defending their careers. I don't know. I mean, maybe he already knows his career is over. I don't know about that. But when Kristen Carpenter, after all these years, brings this up for no reason, like when she has nothing to gain other than just to get it out of her system, and then Sarah Gellar kind of acknowledges it. Michelle Trachtenberg defends it. They have nothing to gain by coming out and bringing this in their life.
I say that the proper channels need to be followed. They should file something because this is all alleged. It's kind of I don't know. I'm not fin. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand. I don't know what to do with this because now we ruined this man and it didn't happen.
Well, and that's why I think right now what's most important is how he responds to all this. Because again, as far as I know, I mean, I haven't looked today. He hasn't responded to any of these claims.
Yep.
He's been very quiet, and that's the problem.
This is crazy because
he didn't come out and deny any of it. He didn't come out and say it was I was mistaken in how I approached the situation. He just has not said anything in response to any of it, both inferring a woman should get an abortion or inappropriate comments or actions against a minor.
But
nothing's been said.
What can he say to make you feel different than what you feel right now?
Oh no, I'm confident. Most of what they said, he did.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, but what can he say to make you feel that he didn't do it? What can he say?
Well, here's the thing. I'm already for these situations. I've seen so many times. Like I said earlier, when we brought up cancel culture. I've seen too many of these fake apologies and fake apology tours where he'll go to some $1 million rehab center and get help, quote unquote, for his behavior and how he's treated people.
But then that's him saying I did it though. But what I'm saying is, what can he say to make you feel he didn't do it?
Nothing.
So it's like he's guilty then, off allegations.
I'll tell you exactly.
What can other people say?
Off allegations. I just want to go ahead, Ryan.
I'll tell you exactly what he can say. Firefly season 2 is in the works.
No, but with the allegation that's going on, I want to use somebody with similar allegations or allegations, but not similar, right? R. Kelly. There's allegations. For me, I can say R. Kelly is guilty because there was video.
Yeah.
So I can connect something to say, okay.
So it's not really an allegation anymore.
No, this right here is allegation, and I want to believe him. Don't get it twisted, but it's like, what if it's not true, and he end up losing his career over something that's not true? And then what if it's real true? What we gonna do if it's true? If everything is true, what are we gonna do?
I don't think
that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
I don't think there's anything that he did that should warrant him losing his career. But if Disney decides to terminate their contract with him or whoever he's working for currently, that's their business. But sounds like he's just a prick. It doesn't sound like he hurt or did anything, illegal or sexual misconduct or anything like that. It just sounds like he's kind of a jerk.
Yeah. Now, granted, trauma is a gray area.
Yeah.
Because trauma is entirely based on the individual.
You probably shouldn't be asking a girl if she's going to keep her baby.
Yeah.
It's not your fucking business.
Super dangerous.
Yeah.
But this is my whole point, though. And so what? So what's gonna happen? Is he that's what I'm saying? So what? I'll turn him into a bad person? That's what we're doing? So what? What is the
It's disappointing.
It's very disappointing, especially if it's true.
And like I
I
said,
agree.
I don't
if
know
it's
that
true,
we need to do anything about it other than process our
as
own
a
feelings
culture,
on it.
I'm
But
talking about as a culture.
Whatever.
Again, as a culture, I think now
People don't listen to me.
hopefully.
I would have fixed it a long time ago.
I hope at this point people are more comfortable coming forward when there is misconduct happening, when there are inappropriate actions and words said.
Victim blaming. Huh? You can't tell them to come forward because they're not comfortable. Victim blaming.
And again, what I said wasn't they should. I said I hope they're more comfortable doing it. So again, I think we're at a point where they are definitely way more comfortable now than they were 20, 30 years ago. Because 20, 30 years ago, the studios controlled media. So if you came out against Harvey Weinstein, you weren't working anymore. Now you can go to 1,000 different platforms and get paid. So you don't need Harvey Weinstein and Miramax to say, "Fuck you."
There's a saying. I don't know if it's in. There's a saying in black culture. I don't know if it's probably in white culture too. highly weird.
White culture.
There's a saying amongst us called Hollywood. You know what you're getting into when you go to Hollywood. You know, and that's why I look at this stuff like, yo, this is what happens there. You get what I'm saying? Like, unless you really ignorant to the fact of what goes on there, you kind of signing up for it. Unless you trying to fight to change it, and that sucks. But that's reality. That's reality. I mean, bro, I worked jobs where I was disrespected. I was treated wrong. Either I could quit or I keep working there. My choice.
So, I have a parable, if you will. Something happened in my life. Kind of works with what you're saying.
Is it a Ryanism?
A little bit. But, like you said, you go into that job, you should know something about it. So, if you're going to work for a sanitation company, you're going to work at the dump, you should know that you're going to have to be able to deal with the smell. And you should know that you're going to have to be able to be comfortable around the mess and the gross and all that sort of stuff. One time at my job, a customer came in complaining that she thought she threw out, it was a necklace, I think is what it was, and she wanted us to check the trash. Problem is, they already threw the trash in the compactor, and the compactor's already taken away to the dump. We went to the dump and dug through trash for probably an hour, with boots on, like the rubber boots for the meat department, and some gloves, and I think some like a poncho or whatever. Didn't find it. You know, it was about an hour. Didn't find it. Came back, told them we didn't find it. Next day, the lady comes in and says that she went and she found it like 5 minutes later. Should I, doing my job, working in a grocery store, expect to deal with the stink and the grossness and all that of a dump?
Is it in your job description?
Not really. I was a manager at the time.
Didn't know.
But, so.
That was your choice, though. You went.
I didn't tell them to go fuck themselves. You're right. I didn't say, would they have been within the rights to take me out of my position, maybe? No. Could they terminate me? No. Could that have affected my career in the near future? Yeah. Because of the way our company functions and the way we put customers first, that is our image. That's some of the things that you're dealing with, that there are side effects. No. Somebody doing that to you isn't right. Somebody treating you like that isn't right. But why is it...
You tripping on that dump thing. I wouldn't have went.
I'm just saying that there are things out of your control. And yes, you should be able to go and say something about it if it's an issue. I didn't. Like, was that right that we went out there completely unprepared in a toxic environment? Probably not. Did I really care? Not really. The idea of it bothers me a lot more than the actual practice does. And you know what? Here I am, next position, a few years later, making good money. So it doesn't really bother me that much in the long run. But should I have been expected to do that? No. Should an actress expect to be...
Were you expected to do that?
Kind of.
That was your choice?
Kind of. It's a gray area. Like you said, it's a gray area. Did I jump up and say, let's go to the dump? No. Did I do it when I was asked? Yes. Should an actress be expected to be pulled into an office and asked if she's going to keep her baby? No. Is it her choice to deal with it? Yes, to an extent. Is it right? No, and it needs to be fixed.
But how do you deal with it? That's on you.
You're right.
But at the end of the day, how you deal with things is on you. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is, I don't know, in this situation, off of allegations, I don't know what to do with this.
You're right. Because allegations will always be there. So until it goes to due process and actual testimony is heard and events are verified.
Either way, at this point,
or not,
someone's life is really ruined.
Nah.
At this point, if Josh Whedon comes out and like denies it, them females or everybody that went through with him and everything, it's like you just been called a liar of something that happened to you, and that hurts.
I don't think it's going to affect his film career. I don't think that it's.
No, I ain't talking about just him though. What about them? If it don't affect him and he just go on doing good, that's going to affect them.
Why? He's a jerk. He didn't do anything, illegal.
But they bring it up years later. That mean that affecting them. They wouldn't bring it up
psychologically. And again, like Paul said, trauma is different for everybody.
Yeah.
Some people shrug shit like that off.
Some people not strong enough.
Yep. Like I said, did my experience affect me a bit? Am I going to be concerned with it?
He said a little bit. Y'all made me go to the dump.
I mean, it's fucking disgusting.
For real.
Again, digging around for an hour. The people who work at the dump have proper protective equipment. We did not.
That's not disgusting. That's dangerous.
It is.
You could have got poked by a knife or something.
Yep.
It's very That was very dangerous.
It
to
is.
Put y'all in that situation was like really whoever the manager was of that store.
It don't matter.
That was not that was them being careless over a job.
And the shitty thing about it is probably that that could have, if we had just said no, that could have got escalated to customer care, and corporate would have come down and said something about it, or just given her money.
Wait, who lost
the customer lost the necklace or whatever it was by throwing it out on accident. She was in the cafe area. She was eating her food. She put it in her bag and she threw it out. Wasn't even one of our bags. She wanted us to go look for a Walmart bag in the dump.
Yeah, I would say, ma'am, here's a soda for your travels, but go ahead and go to the dump and find your.
Whether it sounds like it or not, I'm over it. But it's an experience that I had.
He said, I'm over it.
I'm over it, but it's still a shitty thing. Like looking back on it, it's like, oh my god. Listen, they're paying me enough money now that I don't care.
I had to go.
Yep. That last one kind of sidetracked us a lot. So there was recently a Justice League trailer, and we live in a society. The end.
No, I'll keep talking about it.
All right.
Great movie or the greatest movie? So I'm even more hyped than I was before. All right, I'm done lying.
Are you going to the theater to see it? Wait, first of all, are you going to see it? Period.
Oh yeah, definitely. I need to see this train wreck. Funny enough, actually, on the topic of train wreck, I was driving. I was getting lunch today at Popeyes. On the way there, I saw a pickup truck or a dump truck tipped over. It was hilarious. How like 5 white cops look at it, like 10 Mexicans like picking the dirt up. She was hilariously racist. I said this earlier to the guys, and I'll say it again. The trailer confirmed Deuce heading out because he doesn't love us anymore.
I love money.
He spent 2 hours talking about some radio show, and then he doesn't have time for his own radio show. This trailer confirmed the Justice League stands, and for the haters, it confirmed their thoughts as well.
Yep.
It did nothing to sway anybody from changing their thoughts. It was just enough of everything that everybody thought was going to happen. Like, the only thing they added also went along with what everybody thought.
Yep.
And Ryan going into detail.
So, apparently there's going to be a lot more of the Nightfall sequence. Nightmare sequence.
Nightmare future. Nightmare. I forget what they called it exactly. The Nightmare of Batman.
Where, according to various things that I've read, it's supposed to be like a future where Lois Lane is killed by Darkseid, and it causes Superman to go crazy or whatever. And somehow Darkseid takes over every place, and apparently all the heroes and stuff are left on Earth, and Darkseid has a human army, but also his parademons, and I don't know. I don't know why I don't know why Darkseid would want a human army. But anyway, in this sequence, at the very end, there is a familiar voice that speaks as Batman observes the ruined landscape, sees a figure sitting on a cliff, hill, whatever, and he says, "We live in a society where honor means nothing." Don't we, Batman? And so he turns his face, and it's Jared Leto's Joker. That's right. Jared Leto actually said, "We live in a society," while dressed as the Joker. You hit the nail on the head. It confirms everything that the people who love it love about it, and it confirms everything that the people who hate it hate about it. The fact that they're going to have the people who love it want to see, Joker be a total edgelord, and then the people who enjoy comics and things like that say, like, don't make Joker a total edgelord. It's really missing the point. The point is that he doesn't care what people think. Not that he wants people to think that he doesn't care what people think. He's a total force of chaos. He'll look like an idiot and a badass in the same breath. Yeah.
I mean, the things they add nothing.
Yeah.
Like that one like building on Themyscira like falling off the cliff. Okay, bro, like it's not gonna kill the guy who beams down from another fucking planet.
The 8 foot tall spike demon.
Yeah, the guy who took all of you plus a bunch of Green Lanterns to beat or to just push back.
And didn't even beat him. Just push. Yeah.
It's still just a fucking empty vessel. Like
Yep.
Yeah, it's rated R because of violence, and I'm sure Batman's gonna say fuck at some point. But,
yep.
Like, I don't care. I just don't. I care because for some reason so many people care. And it's just at this point it's a morbid curiosity. It's like when we used to get drunk in high school and go on Rotten.com.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to see what's on there, but I have to.
I have to. This is an experience I need to have in order to understand my peers and my and humanity in general. This is going to tell me about who I am. It's going to inform me if I go on this on Rotten and I see this awful fucking image and I have a proper response of why the fuck did I look at that? It's going to confirm to me I am not a fucking piece of shit. I'm a good person. Then if you go on and you see, haha, it's gross but cool, it's going to confirm to you that you're not a pussy and that you can take anything. It'll confirm different things to everybody else on both ways.
Yeah.
but yes.
I said, and it's so weird because, like, in one sense,
I'm a badass, not a pussy.
Because, like, in one
the immortal
sense,
words of Johnny, I forgot his last name.
I forgot where I was going with this because this movie's so fucking frustrating to talk about.
Awful. 4 hours.
4 hours. So you know what? Because the nightmare sequence, quote unquote, the future they were talking about.
Yep.
For me, that worked better as a fever dream.
Yeah.
As a nightmare for Batman. It being an actual future is dumb as hell.
Yeah.
So it's it's dumb. Like, yeah, all of it. Like I guess again they've done it in so many different versions, both comics, animated features, other things. If Darkseid takes over, he ain't fucking with humans.
Nope.
Like at best, they're just cattle.
Yeah.
They're being used to either feed the parademons or to mine to get resources or whatever they are or for experiments.
Yep.
They're not like being given
guns and
allowed to have guns to do shit. Like,
yep.
granted, the guns are fucking going to do anything about against the parademons and all them anyways.
Yep.
But he doesn't need humans for security.
No. And he keeps them around basically just to have somebody to use the anti-life equation on.
Yeah.
Just to sap them of their will.
Yeah. They're there just to be used. Basically cattle and fucking test subjects. So none of that makes sense. I mean, there are going to be a bunch more cyborg scenes, and I guess like they were talking about he's going to go inside the mother box.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. I don't care. Again, it doesn't matter because again, I'm hoping they give Cyborg what's that word? Development.
Yeah.
So he's more than just an empty vessel.
Gonna have grid.
Booyah. Hope he has more of an actual development in the movie. I hope they all have some development. Again, there's like one extra scene where Barry saves Iris.
Yep.
But I still don't care. Oh, he ran so fast he burned his shoes off. What about the rest of his clothes?
Yeah.
Was he just kind of jogging with the rest of his legs?
What happened? Yeah. What happened to his feet? His shoes couldn't handle the. Why does he need things like that then?
Don't get me wrong. The Flash science never really made sense to me.
Yeah.
The only blanket thing that he ever said was that the Speed Force envelops them.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that also apply to their clothing?
Yep.
Because it does in the comics. Like, they go super fast all the time in regular ass clothes, and they don't disappear. But in the movie, his fucking shoes disappear immediately. And why the entire shoe? Wouldn't there be laces the top of the shoe still there?
Yeah.
He just burns away all of it. But like,
it burns away. It burns hot enough to burn off the entirety of his shoe, but not touch the bottom of his pants.
yeah.
the
And that
like
varies.
the only thing that's dumber than applying than the science of how Barry Allen's Speed Force works is trying to apply logic to it.
Yeah.
You just gotta lean in with this one. There's a cosmic treadmill. All right.
What a society.
The one thing I did kind of think was cool, two just visual elements, seeing Darkseid. It was kind of neat, and also it's kind of crazy that like they've chosen to go with a version of Darkseid that is apparently 20 feet tall or higher.
As you do.
Yep. Which the Justice League War, if you watch that movie, that show, he's like that in there. And then the other thing that was kind of cool just to see it on screen, it was just for a moment, though I'm still not a big fan of them incorporating it, is the Bat Tank from Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
I mean, if we're in a situation where Batman somehow survives all this bullshit, yeah, he's gonna build a tank.
Yep.
I mean, he built that fucking spider for no reason.
I mean, he is Batman.
He's a goddamn Batman.
Batman.
I just...
You want to know my secret identity?
Look at my dick.
Bruce Wayne.
Nice. That being said, I'm gonna watch when it comes out.
Yep.
Because I have to.
Yep.
Again, morbid curiosity. I hope I can have the day off to recover.
Fully process.
Like I'm gonna get more fucked up after watching a movie than St. Patty's Day. It's gonna affect me. I think on an emotional level, a spiritual level. Like again, like we're not fucking like shitting on DC. We want good movies. It just doesn't look.
Nope.
Please be good, but it's not gonna be good.
Please be better than I think you're going to be.
It's a low bar.
Yeah.
Ha ha! Easily attainable. You know, for a while, I actually enjoyed the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie because I had such low expectations of it. I left the theater thinking it was a fun movie. It wasn't until later on when I rewatched it.
I used to like the X-Men movies. And then I saw how a good X-Men movie could be done
While we're on this,
with Deadpool and Logan.
While we're on this subject, the internet keeps saying X2 is a good movie.
It's not. It has good moments.
It doesn't make sense to me because every time I go to anybody who talks about the X-Men or comic movies, they keep saying X2 was a good movie. It makes no goddamn sense. After the first 5 minutes, why are you still watching it?
Yeah. It was the best of those movies.
Was that the movie with the mansion scene?
Yes, the mansion scene.
Okay, so the first 15 minutes is good.
The mansion scene, the teleportation scene, and well, I guess it is all part of the mansion scene, but the part where Wolverine goes berserk and Colossus does his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's only because they were so fucking timid in the first movie.
Yeah.
That seeing anything happen close to a superhero was great.
Yep.
Like we get a quick fucking bzzz from fucking Cyclops twice.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, that's cool, bro.
And Storm, with her weird accent, says, "What happens to frogs when they get struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everyone else."
Speaking of monsters, Bryan Singer.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Good Lord.
They weren't good.
No.
They weren't good.
No.
Why did we like those? God, I remember getting 10 of those comic books when I first watched it. I should have known then that fucking theaters were empty when I watched the movie on opening weekend.
Yeah. Oh, there was
At Paragon.
Yeah. I mean, there was no expectation for those at that point. So there were no crowds to go see them, and there were no really things for us to compare them to. What do you compare them to? The Batman movies? The Superman movies? Blade movies? Those are all... Superman movies are not really comic booky, while having very heavy comic book elements of them. And even the Batman movies were almost strictly Tim Burton's interpretation of Batman. And then Blade is just so different anyways. Then along came Spider-Man. Purposeful choice of words. And started really setting the bar higher.
Plus, I'm confused because X2, I guess it was filming while it came out, but X2 came out after.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It was a weird time for comic movies in particular.
Oh yeah. Definitely the growing pains of a burgeoning industry.
Yeah, everything from X-Men up to pre-Iron Man.
Yes.
Such a weird time.
Oh yeah.
Nobody knew what to do with it. A bunch of studios had their own thing, and even again, still showing love for Sam Raimi, but it was a self-contained world because it was one of the most truest comic book movies.
Yeah.
Not superhero movies, because now they make superhero movies.
Yes.
Like the Spider-Man the first two movies were comic book movies first.
Yep.
Superhero movies second.
They had good action pieces, but it was mostly about how you could throw in the jokes and have the character moments and things like that.
Yeah, it was things that were things that only would have happened in a comic book.
Yep.
Like just weird ass shit, and I fucking love it.
Pizza time.
Oh man, I wish Tobey Maguire was a better person. And Peter Parker, great actor.
Yep.
Not a great Parker. Not a great Spider-Man. Okay, Parker. Not a good Spider-Man. Yep.
Bike messenger knocked me down. Well, it was a really weird time frame that they had with him, anyways, because they basically had him I think, or if you remember when Brett used to talk about it back in high school, he was like, they condensed 5 or 10 years into 2 hours, and they spread it across 3 years. He's in high school, then he's in his trade school or whatever he is, and then he's partway through being Spider-Man for a while. I would say the movie took place over the course of 2 years, 3 years.
2 or 3 years sounds fair.
Yeah, he graduates, he gets a job, he gets he's in his postgrad, whatever he's doing there in college. But
yeah, they're very vague because they don't clarify whether it actually happened when he was 16 or whether he was a senior when it happened.
Yeah.
And again, I'm fine with that. The 16-year-old part works when you're doing a monthly comic. Mm-hmm. When you're showing this is just a 16-year-old trying to do his best.
Yeah.
But for a movie, yeah, you have to speed it up. And that's the sacrifice a character in a movie has to make in order to make fucking sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, your opinion, Snyder Cut, great movie or the greatest movie?
It is like having your brain smashed in with a brick of gold, wrapped around a large lemon. I forget how that goes.
All right, you're guys. We're declaring
Pangalactic Argo Master.
We're declaring Snyder Cut the greatest movie.
Yep.
It's definitely going to surpass Endgame. Definitely going to surpass Infinity War. It will almost surpass Captain Marvel. It's going to be solid.
Oh, yeah.
Solid number
like
2.
a rock. A solid number 2. It certainly sounds like a solid number 2.
Yeah, I mean, at times the Flash might be a little corny. But I think
he does run very well.
There's some good fibers in there.
Yeah.
Some good fibers in there. I think they have a chance. It'll
make a splash.
It'll come out and make a splash.
Yeah.
Might even go up to the upper deck.
Yep.
Metaphorically speaking, obviously. It's hard to get. It's like 500 yards.
Yeah.
That's go in the yard.
Yep.
I think it's the term. I don't watch baseball that much. I'm a Marlins fan, so we don't have a good history. Fuck Derek Jeter.
Yep. Solid Deuce.
I think that's a show.
I think that is the show.
I mean, the show was probably over 20 minutes ago, but here we are.
It certainly was.
Sam Brady for no reason.
So, thank you for joining us today on this last podcast. Please check us out on the social medias, the Twitters, the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the what else? Tumblrs. Really just Google us. You'll be fine. It'll also help the algorithm there.
Please respond to us on some social media. What do you want from our OnlyFans? We want to give you what you want.
Absolutely.
And we want to know what you don't want, so we give that to you too.
Are you into armpit play? We could do that.
2 of us aren't shaved.
Yes.
Can you guess which ones?
Also hit up our partnership with Bright Swimwear, brightswimwear.com, where they make, I keep wanting to say fashionable,
They got swimsuits.
they got swimsuits. Nice swimsuits, TWO25 at checkout will get you 25% off. They're coming out of Sweden. Luxury swimwear. That's the word I was looking for. At reasonable prices. Check out my show. This won't last call. Check out Dee's show. Happy Good Morning. And that's it. I think. Anything else, Paul? Paul, when are you bringing out Let's Get Political?
This isn't time for politics.
No.
It's just, we're dealing with a crisis. After
Infinitely.
we get the Snyder Cut, then we can talk about more jovial things.
Be on the lookout for our. We're doing it. We got a plan for the week of the Snyder Cut. Should we go into it a little bit?
Nah, surprising.
Surprising.
It'll be something tied to the DC, the worlds of DC.
Listen,
Ugh.
you can't spell Deuce without DCEU.
It's still called the worlds of DC, or they're going back to DCEU.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers, do you know what you're doing?
Nope.
Got it. They've been gotten.
Anyways, to my left has been Pete Breezy.
What's still up though?
To my right was D-Easy the Snyder Boy Slim.
Yeah.
And I have been Ryan Bonlin. So that'll do it. Bye.
Bitch, bye.